Evening. It is I, Roncar. It is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. Your meditation was quite simple, but it was quite profound if you think about it, for she seemed to be focusing upon the fact that you are all one with God, that you are made up of the substance of God and you are one with God, that you are a powerful person because you are one with God. God creates through you, and you create your own world. And this is an important point for you to remember, that you are powerful, that you do the creating in your life, that you can change anything you want to change as long as it's all part of yourself. You cannot change other people. There are many things external to yourself which you cannot change. But on the inside, all the things that are happening on the outside, inside you can change. You can change the way you react to the things that happen to the outside of you. You can change the way you respond to all those things that are going on around you, over which you have no control. What you have control of is your reaction and how you will think of these things, and whether you will choose to be happy over these things or you will choose to be unhappy. Remember, these are choices in your life. Sometimes people who are grounded on the physical plane with no knowledge of metaphysics may not understand that how you react to things can change your life, that you can react in the ways that make you feel good. You can ignore the hurtful things that may be going on around you, or you can choose to interpret them in different ways, such as saying, these things are coming about because of the lack of knowledge and understanding that these people are doing, and saying that they are creating a life and a world for themselves, which is hard. And it need not be part of me. I do not have to accept this. I can view it in a different way. I can work around it. I can ignore it. There are so many choices available to me on how to handle these situations. But I choose not to be affected by the negativity of others. I accept them as they are. I feel sorry for them because they have to endure their own negativity and think these things that make them unhappy. It is sad that they must be like this in every way. So I don't have to get angry. I do not have to get sad. I do not have to act in such a way that I participate in the thoughts and the feelings that they have. I can listen sympathetically and keep it distant from myself. And I can know that the thoughts and the actions of these types of people are sad and they only affect them. You, as an individual, need not accept these things from others who simply do not allow them to affect your consciousness. And I know that it seems very hard to hear these words and to not react to people. It takes practice. You have to work at reframing what people say and what your response to what they say and do is. You can choose to have the response that brings about the best in yourself in the sense of remaining pleasant, balanced, and happy about your own life. What they are saying and doing, even if they are saying it to you about you, is really about themselves. And it is their problem, not your problem. And so you can listen, you can nod your head, and you can ignore them. And you can go about creating the life that you want and be happy. Now, are there any questions on what I have spoken in this evening so far? And then if there are none on those, any questions you would like to put to me?
Yes, Roncar, I have a question.
Yes, Lydia.
I have two sons. I raised them with such a loving, caring home, and they are almost like crazy about themselves, like twins. But recently, it's since January, I find out they stop talking to each other. They are very mad at each other. They cannot understand one saying one thing, another is saying the other thing, and I'm in the middle. And it's basically it's tearing my heart apart. I try everything in my power to not interfere, but I'm a mother and it's really, really affecting my health. I cannot understand. I'm crying. I'm
Yes.
just suffering so much because how they are to each other. I understand they have own karma, they have own life. What I can do more to just help myself to understand this situation and not paying my health and my conscious spiritual way how I'm paying right now.
You understand your dilemma and your need and desire to resolve the situation so that your two sons will be in harmony with one another once again, as you have perceived it. Since often it is impossible to tell in such a situation which one of your sons is right and which one of your sons is reacting, perhaps in ways that have exacerbated the differences in their opinions and what they believe has been done. But there is nothing that you can do for them or about them. You can simply request that when they are in your presence, that they do not speak of the difficulty. You do not wish to hear it. And if they are in your presence together, that they are amicable and cordial to one another. I know they will probably avoid being in your presence together because of this requirement that you will put on them. But it is, you will have your times when you will spend time with one another. And it is important that you do not allow them to draw you into the discussion where one is trying to advocate for his position and the other one is trying to advocate for his position. You must
Exactly.
not allow them to talk to you about one another. And you will only listen to other aspects of their lives. This way, in your own mind, you will gradually, well, I want to say forget, but I know you cannot forget. But their disagreement and their opinions will be minimized. You will not be forced to think about it. You wish to know what they are doing in their lives. You wish them well in all all of their endeavors. So you wish to hear about these things. So there will be plenty for you to talk about with each one, since you want each one to do well. In this way, you will slowly feel better about it. And at some point in time, they will resolve this issue. If you do not give it any chance to upset you, this issue will be resolved between the two of them at some point in time. It may take a long while, or it may be a short while. You say it has already been from January. Now, perhaps it will last all the rest of the year. Maybe by Christmas, they will be able to give displays of affection for one another once again. And perhaps sometime in the next year, they will be able to have a true reconciliation. But your hope will be at Christmas time, the time of love, that they will begin to express some love for one another. Possibly at that time, do they live with you at this time, both of them?
Excuse me?
Do your sons live with you?
No, no.
Good. Perhaps you can invite them for Christmas dinner. And that way, since you have already said to them that they may not fight in your presence, they may not be mean to one another, they will have to be cordial. And Christmas time will be an excellent time for you to have them together in the same room in your house. And you perhaps will have some old family traditions that you can insist upon, that as a family, you all perform these actions and do the traditional things that you like to do at Christmas. And this might be the way they will be able to break the ice, so to speak, to start reconciling with one another. Plus, they will have had a whole year to not speak to one another if they wish.
It seems like since when they have women in their life, because one is married, another gonna be married next month. It's so much fraction came to the life. It's just I'm overwhelmed with that. Why is that happening? That's how everything starts.
It started because of their wives or their fiancés. Is that it you are saying? That
Yes.
perhaps it is really the women who have caused the fight?
It's look like yes, yes. Yes, and they are adults. They are just like over 30s, and that's why I'm in shock, because they was like two fingers like together, and all of a sudden it's the third war between them.
I understand. And hopefully their wives will soon realize that it is important to their husbands that they maintain a good relationship with you, that this is something that you clearly want, and you make that known. And at Christmas time, again, I reiterate that you must ask them to dinner or whatever Christmas tradition you have used in the past, and do your best to insist that they come. It is possible that they will not want to come if it is something that has been caused by their wives. Perhaps their wives will insist upon going to their mothers. But try to do your best to bring
Yes.
them together at Christmas time under your roof, and hopefully their wives. I do not know what you will do for the wedding. Whether the one brother who is already married will come to the wedding for the other brother. I do
He
not know how it is, and you can always say to that brother to your son that you have a wish that he attends his brother's wedding and that everything be as
Thank you.
good as it could be, that
Yes.
they approve and act well together.
Thank you so much.
Yes, that was just make it known that this is your wish and you are hoping for this. And hopefully they will listen to your desire, but do not interfere. That is the most important thing. Do not allow them to talk about their differences unless they want to talk to you about their wives and how the wife is causing a difficulty. My wife is unhappy. If they say that, then you can permit them to talk about it. But otherwise, you don't allow them to talk about their brother in your presence, whichever presence and whichever brother happens to be with you.
Thank God I have only two.
Yes, yes. But if you had more, well, perhaps then it would be more complicated. This will eventually resolve itself as long as you try to avoid saying anything to either of them about their disagreement and just insist on talking about the other things in their life that you want to know about. Even their wives, you ask about their wives. You have any grandchildren yet?
Yes, I do have one, and the other one is on the ways. Yes.
Well, then you have the right to continue to ask about your grandchildren, ask if they can come to visit you. You wish to consider seeing everyone if they live within a reasonable distance of you. You want to maintain all the relationships you can, but you don't discuss the rift that is between the two brothers.
Oh, thank you so much, because I'm
Oh,
just okay. Thank you. Thank you.
May ask another question if you wish.
I would like to, but I'm just afraid I will take the time from the other people.
Well, at the moment, take the time.
Okay, I just would like to know that anything generally, it's any kind message, it's directly for me. Just for me, when it's coming for the spiritual guidance. Yes, exactly. I said that right.
I'm sorry, I did not quite I know that you are looking for a message.
Yes, regarding my spiritual guidance and
that is good enough. I am
yes,
now understand. And actually, your ability to navigate this rift between your two sons and not let it upset you any longer, to be at peace with the fact that they, for some reason, are not getting along, but you know and believe it in your heart that at some time they will come together with the great camaraderie and joy and love that they once had. You know that is going to happen. So this is your message, is that this is your challenge. It is a way for you to grow. As with all growth, it often comes with a challenge, something that makes you unhappy, and how to deal with that unhappiness and live in such a way with such a mindset and understanding in your mind that you can be content and happy with the difficulty of your children and still enjoy your own life, knowing that they are creating their lives in whatever way they choose. And while you might feel sad about it, you recognize their right to be unhappy if they choose.
So I knew it's happening for definitely for the reason, but I didn't know what reason. Thank you. It's making a
You're
lot
most
of
welcome.
sense. A lot of
I'm
sense.
sure you
Thank
will
you so
do
much.
I'm sure you will do just fine now.
Thank
Are
you.
there other questions on any subject?
From me, no, thank you.
But let the others speak if they have a question. Because if you have no questions, you know that that is the end of our evening. You see, Lydia, that is why you can ask as many questions as you like, for they have no questions.
Okay, so I have another question.
All right.
Recently, my mom is deteriorating with the health. She is back overseas, and I'm worried about her because I cannot see her, and it's what's going on in the world. I just would like to, if it's possible, to know, do I worry too much, or she is the way when it's supposed to be taking her life to the end, whatever it's gonna be. Is she's in distress because I have the feeling like she's lying to me.
He's lying to you?
She is lying because she doesn't taking medication. She is saying it's okay, but her doctor is saying completely different thing. And right now I cannot go there. It's far away by the plane. So
I
I just
understand.
yes.
Yes, and this is your mother.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yes, I can understand your dilemma. Is she in the country of the Ukraine or is she in Poland?
No, she is in Poland.
But it still makes her life difficult.
Very, very difficult.
And you are concerned for her health. She says she is good, but her doctor says otherwise. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
Well, it is your mother's choice to try and not worry you. And it's important that you do not worry, because I am sure you are well aware that what you think about, you attract to yourself. If you are overly concerned for your mother's health and are worrying that she is sick, actively sick, in spite of the fact she assures you she is not, then you need to put it aside, because it is her choice to not worry you. She does not want you to worry and think that she is sick. So you need to pretend that you do not know what the doctor has said, and that you only listen to her.
Yes.
And
That's
the
true.
reason she cannot come, of course, is because perhaps she is not well enough.
Yes. Yes, understanding her
And,
wish.
and that is hard for you to consider, but there is nothing you can do about it unless you want to go to Poland.
I would love to, and I just, like I said, I wish I can. Right now, I cannot, and I hope maybe next year, if she's still gonna be around, to see her.
Yes, and you will want to go even more. So start working on whatever you need to do to save money or to complete some work or something, so that you are free to go as soon as possible. And then you will see your mother, and seeing her, you will know that she is either fairly well or she is sick, but you wish to go. So do what you can to go yourself. And since she chooses not to leave and come visit you, and be away from everything that she knows that is home for her, that she feels secure and safe in her environment. And even though she may wish to see you, she feels safer in her environment with her doctor and receiving whatever she gets to keep her as healthy as possible. And so you here, aside from putting aside your money or working hard on creating a space and time for you to go to Poland, that you will continually send her healing. Do you understand?
Yes.
To just know that she is in excellent health, that every cell and fiber of her being is in perfect health because she has perfect circulation. She has perfect assimilation. She has perfect elimination. She has perfect blood chemistry. She can do anything that she wants. She is well and healthy. And you make these statements every day and send her your love and healing, and that you will be, in your mind, you will tell her you are coming as soon as you can.
Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Those challenges, they are challenges, but I'm very grateful to have them because every step it's lighter afterwards.
Yes, you are correct. There are challenges, and challenges always give you the opportunity to grow and become better than you are. Make your life happier because you will work at those challenges.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Roncar.
You are most welcome. Does anyone else have a question? Yes, Karen.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Roncar. I'm wondering, since we can only have influence over ourselves, how can we improve the chances of democracy continuing in our country, in the United States? It seems that we're called upon to advocate, to try to influence others. And perhaps that's what you're saying is all we can do, is to put ourselves out there, and then other people either do or don't go along with it. But I'm worried about our country. I'm worried about the minorities and the rights of women and that kind of thing.
Yes, I understand the question and your anxiety over the situations. Those situations are so big that in your mind, there is little that you can do as an individual. And one of the things you can do as an individual, besides becoming active in a political way to try to get someone elected to Congress or the presidency or the Senate, that that will uphold, in your opinion, this person will uphold the rules of law and the Constitution the way it was written and for the purpose that it was written. But you can also, and this can be a great influence, although it is not possible to measure, but you may know that everything is going to be okay. That it is normal for the swing of the pendulum to move from one thing to another, to the other side, so that you are approaching a return, a swing of the pendulum in the other direction. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that there has been a great movement in the country, some of which was very good things, which was a reflection of efforts to improve the country. That minorities' ideas and things were taken into account much better, that they began to have better equal rights than they had had in the past. And that was an excellent movement to start. Of course, it has grown the
LGBTQ.
all those letters, that even that was a good thing, that people needed to be acknowledged in their humanity, even though they were different and had different thoughts. So these things were excellent, and it sent the pendulum swinging in that direction. Now, it has gotten too much over to one side, that they are now being, instead of allowing it to be, they are continuing to push the pendulum and bring up the issue to the point past which it is reasonable to do so. It was best, like when you are pushing a swing, to stop pushing it at some point and allow it to swing. And that's when everyone has fun. And so they needed to push the swing, the issues about minorities and gay people and these type of situations. They needed to push that, but it is time to allow it to swing, so that when you are making a cake, there comes a time when you have to stop stirring the batter so you can bake it. And this is what needs to be done. So the swing of the pendulum is reaching one length, one edge of its swing, and has actually begun to reverse. You see this. So you can go out and advocate as you will, for you are a person who is respected among your friends and community. And if you choose to speak out in the ways that make sense to others, you will influence others to think more like you, and that they will see that it is necessary for the documents of the founding fathers to take precedent, but rather than the individual causes of some of these people, and to allow that swing of the pendulum to normalize at a level like a swing where they are going to slow down, but then everyone will enjoy this and it will benefit. So it is hard to explain, but I believe you understand about the swing of the pendulum. And so just comfort yourself in knowing that it is reaching its edge to return to the middle again. And if all goes well, you will have an overabundance of words sometimes I'm using these words sometimes. You will have an overabundance of conservative ideas, perhaps, which may be just as onerous when it happens. But they will come to be. But know that it's your own power of creation. When you know and you believe that things are going to work out, that they will, this swing of the pendulum will reverse itself, and conservative issues and the return to the following of the founding documents more closely and completely will help, and that these all will return. Know this be true. Say it in your prayers every day, not as a request. Will it? No. You know, be firm in your mind and be a good person yourself. And this then grows the goodness. You are already a good person, but every kind act that you do helps grow that thoughts that you embrace. So know that to be true. Dedicate your own actions and your own way of being to right actions, and you will feel happier. At least you will know you have done everything that you could, and know that you are being successful. And that also will help this to be a true statement in your own mind, but a true statement that you are saying. You understand?
Yes. Thank you, Roncar.
You are
bless.
most welcome. Are there other questions?
I have a question as follow-up to Karen's, because I was thinking what she's thinking, but she expressed it so well. So I have 3 schools of thoughts. The answer you gave her is what I hope is real. That would be what I would like to see real. The second observation I have is that this is a huge coming together of good versus evil in a more universal plane. And then the third option I see is that the higher source, which is watching us, that we are merely a hologram type stage performance of interaction of this and that and this and that, and it's ongoing and timeless. So having those 3 observations, of course, I hope your response to Karen's is what I would like to see, but I'm looking at it not quite on the ground level, but at the highest level, I feel we're being observed and watched, and the kabuki dance continues. Can you clarify any of those 3? And is what you said to Karen the correct one? I would like to have that answer. Thank you.
It is correct. I would not have given her a wrong answer. It would not have been of absolutely no help to tell her something that was not true or was wrong. So, of course, my answer to Karen was correct, as best as I could explain it. Your observations are interesting because they also are somewhat correct in your 3 options. They are different viewpoints. And as with all things, as this world is your creation, and it is dependent upon your thoughts to manifest what you want it to manifest. It is dependent on your thoughts and your actions. So if you choose to accept my answer that I gave to Karen, and you choose to act in similar fashion, in ways that are helpful, which will also forward those particular actions. I do not know if I am saying that clearly, but if you act in this fashion, you know that what you say and do makes a difference. Even if you do not speak to another person, if your belief is strong, it will show up in your actions. and the things that you do and the things you participate in. And so as you think good thoughts, as you send love, as you know that this is going to reverse itself to a level which is more correct, let us put it that way. We do not need to improve more than we have improved. It is like making the cake. You have added the baking powder that was necessary, which you didn't have missing before. And so now your cake batter is now fermenting slowly and getting ready to rise in the oven. And you have to put it in the oven. But just know that it's ready. It is ready now, and people's rights and understandings are going to be in better balance than they are right now. That the balancing act is being done, and they will be in better balance, and everyone will be happy as a result. They will all have that opportunity. Of course, there will be people who do not think that enough has been done. They will choose to be unhappy over situations. It is just the way they are. But if you know you will be contributing toward the growth of the people who are knowing the same things as you, knowing that there's peace, knowing that we are now more aware of the individual rights in the country, that enough has been done in people's awareness, and that they will all find the happy medium that they need, and that it needs no more work in these areas. Perhaps a little reminding now and then, but it needs to settle out. It needs to be able to manifest that middle in order to bring about the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And there will always be a few who are unhappy, who think that maybe there should be more, but they are just advocating for themselves. And that is okay, but you advocate for the greatest good and for the greatest number of people, which means not that we give everything away, because people must work, people must create, and they must come to the understanding that all need to continue to do well and be happy. I do not know if I have expressed it well. It is a difficult concept to speak about, but knowing that just your knowing that all will be well, that your three things will simply distill into the one which covers them all, because each of your three things is a correct perception. And so everything will be fine. Everything will work out. You have to know it. You have to pray for it, in the sense, not requesting it, but knowing it, using your faith that all will go well, because that sends the vibration out from your mind. And it is the thought that starts the action. You have thought, you have action, you have results. And so think and know that you are starting what needs to be done, for the thought comes first. And the thought is the initiating factor. It starts it. And then the action continues it to the results being exactly what the thought had in mind. I hope that was a good summation.
I have taken that exactly into consideration, and probably around the beginning of COVID, when things got a little intense. What I personally did was, and I think you were talking about intent, but what I personally did is I came up with two things that I tell people in my life. You don't ever have to, I call it, you don't need to ever lie, number one, and do unto others. Now, with those two things, and then knowing you can only change yourself, you can't change other people. But with those two things, that intent can work for me, and it can work for people I influence who want to be like me to reach the goals that you mentioned. So I think, yes, you did sum it all. But what people can do for themselves is to literally take on something that you will be a good example to yourself first, and then influence others and see what happens.
Yes. Yes, what you have said is correct. It is hard for me to express what thought does. For thought is sufficient to win the argument without you saying anything. You send it forth out into the universe. That is why you do not want to worry and think about the possible bad things. You think about only the good things and what's going to come and what you know with faith. Because that knowingness, that knowledge, gives energy to your thoughts. And when, as they say, when two or more are gathered in my name, I am present. Well, when two or more are gathered in the same thought, they are greater than anyone as alone. And it is that kind of arithmetic that you must have confidence in your life. That because you are there in your thought, and Karen is there in her thought, and perhaps Lydia is there in her thought, and Robert is there in his thought, that you have expanded the pool of energy for this to materialize. And it's all within your thoughts. Because your actions cannot be as strong as your thoughts. But they implement your thoughts. Yes. Are there other questions? Well, it seems to me that we have exhausted the reason that we have come together in this evening. To understand that thinking creates as much as doing creates. And actually thinking creates more. So think the right thoughts. Think the thoughts that cause you to be happy. To know that this country that you love is going in the right direction. And that it has already pushed to the outer edge and has reversed. And you will begin to see that more and more in the next year. And you will feel it more and more. And you will know it and more. And so I give you my blessings. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, I'm back. Well, I hope you enjoyed the evening. And remember, I love you all. Good night.